The following program is a public access production. Comcast is required to provide time on this channel and make it available pursuant to franchise agreements with the communities we serve. Comcast is not affiliated with the following program or the producers of public access programming and is not responsible for the content. The following program does not reflect the opinions of Comcast or its affiliates.
Hello, I'm Ellen Roberts. I'm the host for Senior Issues, Etc. Today we have two gentlemen here from the Lake County Area Computer Enthusiasts Club, and they're going to tell us how to be more computer literate and all sorts of things like that. We have Phil Bach, President, and J.J. Johnson, membership and webmaster.
And founder.
And founder, yes. J.J.'s the founder of the club. So if you tell us a little bit about yourself and your club, how you joined, got together.
Well, I'll start off. JJ has a longer history than I do, so it'll take longer. I started with computers back in about 1980, 78, I think it was, when I bought my son an Apple II computer. And as parents, or at least fathers do, who used to buy their children electric trains and then play with them, I started playing with the Apple II computer and eventually bought one for myself. So I used that for a while, and eventually at work we got IBM computers. Yes. So they gave us training on IBM computers then. And eventually in 1997, I bought my first personal computer for use at home. Mm-hmm. And that kind of got me started. And then, of course, you go through the different versions of Windows and learning them and learning how to use them and so forth. And back around 8 years ago, I said, well, I'm doing okay, but I'm not as knowledgeable as I would like to be. Mm-hmm. Is there a computer club in the area that I could join? Mm-hmm. And I looked around and I found Lake County Area Computer Enthusiasts and signed up about 8 years ago or so. So that's how I came to the club.
No.
JJ, I founded the club. So.
Okay, as the founder of the club, and back in late '82, I retired from the Navy and I purchased my first Atari computer, not the gaming system. And in the box it came with a brochure that says start a user group. So somewhere about April 1983 I started the first user group, and from there we grew as Atari computer user group. And from there we continued on, and at the largest point in our time we were up to well over close to 200 members. And with the demise of Atari in the early 90s, we continued on as a PC group, and that's basically where we're at today. And our group basically is members helping members, or should we say right now, seniors helping seniors. And we're doing pretty good.
Well, that's good. It's nice to know that there's, I had no idea that there was a club out there to, where you could come as a neophyte or what. I've used computers at work, but I know what I know and that's it. It hasn't spread out to, I kind of looked at it as a very nice typewriter. And, there's so much more that it can do. And, it's just great to, you can come to some place and say, how do I do this? Or right. My favorite thing, okay, I know I did this once, but I can't figure out how I did it. Right. And, that. Because you have a help group. That was.
We do. We have a help desk before every meeting, our monthly meeting, from 11:15 to 12:15, where anyone is welcome, not just club members. We put up a sign. We meet in the Grays Lake Area Public Library, and we put up a sign each Saturday of the month when we have our monthly meeting, saying "Computer Meeting down here." So anyone is welcome to come down, come in with questions. They don't have to join the club. Okay. We hope that they will, but they don't have to. And as you pointed out, we have diversity in terms of the devices we use and the skills we have, so we can help a lot of people with
So somebody
their
could come in
particular-
with an Apple
Yes,
computer or a tablet or even
phone.
your
Yes,
iPhone
yes,
or regular
yes,
phone going.
exactly. Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's well, they're kind of, now that they don't give you instructions,
I know.
you're just supposed to know, and if you don't have a grandchild or a teenager right next door, you're really in bad shape.
Well, one thing that I would say to your viewers is that computer security and privacy is becoming a bigger and bigger issue.
Yes.
And we do spend a fair amount of time talking about scams and ways to protect yourself when you're online and so forth. And I would encourage people, even if they're comfortable with using their computer, to consider coming to our club meeting or find another club, but really focus on the security and privacy side of things.
That's a very good point, because there are a lot of things, I know a lot of websites will say, stay checked in or not,
Right.
and I've always been told don't ever do that. But it's so convenient not to, have to, you get used to
Yes.
instantaneous,
Yes,
and
just
it's
click on the link.
yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Keep on taking care of that.
As Phil's discussing, we've had the Grays Lake Police Department come in a couple of times and do presentations on scams and ID theft. So they give our members an idea of what to look for and how to check your emails and phone messages and stuff for scams.
Now, could you give your website? Because I know there's a lot of links out there that you've got to help people.
Our website basically is lce.org, which is Lake County Area Computer Enthusiasts.org. And we also have a hotline, which is also our information line at 847-623-3815. So if you have information or you want information about the club or you want to call and find out when our meetings are, you can call that number or go to our website. Our website basically has everything about the club, our history, along with our presentations, and it also gives our meeting dates at the top. When our meetings are, we have our agendas of what meetings are coming up. So all that information can be found on our website.
Okay, and people should check the website before they just show up at a meeting. Because I think you said there's occasionally something's going on in the library and you don't have your...
That's true.
Yeah, unfortunately, we meet at the library, and the library is free for us, so we have to work around the library schedule. But normally our meetings are on the second Saturday of each month, and we have meetings 10 times a year. We don't have a meeting in July and August. In July, we have a picnic, and in December, we have a Christmas party, actually a Christmas party and a raffle every year.
Yep.
So that's our two big events.
It's a big social event, so
Yes.
you can...
Actually, we are a social club,
Well,
so
Yeah, true. You
along with everything else.
to share things on
Yes.
that. I know, JJ, you were talking about you were at a computer store and you met somebody who was,
I would say back in the Atari days, we were looking for members, and I was at a computer store in Waukegan. I think it was called Computer City. And I was listening to a salesman talking to a gentleman and his wife, and after he finished talking to him, I went up and introduced myself and sort of introduced him to the club. And the funny thing about the gentleman says, you won't believe my name. He says, what's your name? His name was Jack Frost, and this is my wife, Winnie. But anyhow, I got Jack and his wife to join the club, and eventually Winnie became our treasurer for the club for several years.
okay.
Yes.
So I know this, it can be intimidating going in and talking to a 17-year-old at Best Buy, and I don't know whether they're giving me the right thing to buy or just a good salesman, But, still, I've got, computer now and everything else. I have some friends who are into computers. I'll ask, so what kind of things should I buy? Because it's a major purchase. They don't last forever like typewriters did until couldn't get tapes anymore, or the ink.
Yes, yes.
Well,
But,
although we're saying we're a computer club, we're sort of leaning toward technology nowadays because more and more people are using tablets and their smartphones for their devices.
Yes.
Just recently, well, actually, within the last week, I've read several articles about is the iPad replacing the laptop computer? And I would say, in a sense, it is, because there are so many things you can do on your tablets nowadays that you really don't need a computer. And this is one of the reasons why our club is sort of not, really, even though we're called a computer club, we're leaning toward technology because there are so many devices out there that you use now that sort of in a sense replaces the computer.
It does, because it's really, you know, it's
Yes.
about what you can do with it and what it can do for
Yes.
you, and you know, everything gets smaller.
As an example of that, JJ just did a presentation a couple of months ago about scanning, about turning your home office into a digital office as opposed to file cabinets and paper and so forth and so on. And we've been hearing about this a paperless business, paperless society for years,
Yes.
and it's not true.
No,
As,
yeah.
you can see the paper we brought you. But he did a presentation. He's bought himself a nice scanner, and he demonstrated for us and explained to us how he used it. So this is the kind of sharing that goes on, where we have a member who has a special interest or has taken the initiative to learn something, who will come and share that information with the rest of the group.
Okay. So scanning like photographs and things like that, I know that's
just
the big thing
documents,
today.
you get a letter from Medicare with some information on it, or a bill or statement, throw it in a scanner, blip, scan it to your computer,
Yes.
shred it, and it's all
I'm-
on the computer file.
Yeah, I'm sure probably if I got rid of all the paper in my house, I'd have
Yes.
tremendous amount of room.
Have another spare room, yes. Yeah.
I would say maybe a little over a year ago or so that I had a 4-drawer file cabinet, and I went through it, and now here again I think I'm down to maybe a half a drawer full of paper because everything now is digitized.
That's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Get
the
it
big
on there,
thing-
get it organized, and you can find
Yeah,
it.
That's the big thing,
That's-
is after you digitize it, organizing it. Yes.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you cover that too, because it's not just scanning it, and
Yeah.
because it would be just like a unfiled file cabinet
Yeah.
where somewhere in the spare room there's a paper with that on
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
You know, but
Yes.
okay. Well, you get a short break now. I do this little segment called Pearls, where we talk about something else, where you can take a breath.
Okay.
Speaking of the papers, I have to find what I was going to talk about. We've got a primary election coming up on St. Patrick's Day, and I spoke with the township office, and they gave me some information on voting by mail applications. Let's see, there's lakevoterpower.info is where I got most of this information from. And they have a phone number, which is, you can call 847-377-VOTE, which is 8683, and voting by mail at lakecounty.gov. And with this, what I was very glad to find out is you can apply for a paper ballot. You can use the phone number or the website. They'll send you an application. You fill that out, and then they will mail you a ballot. And let's see. Actually, you can get onto a permanent program for the ballot application mailed to you if you aren't able to go to the polls, or if you or someone you know does a lot of traveling. They can just get this set up so they can conveniently vote by mail and don't have to worry about being in town on the day of an election. Your ballot must be postmarked, obviously, no later than the election day, and they'll have all the rules and regulations on that. But coming up on the primary, and then, of course, the major general election in November, so it's time to get that organized, because voting is the most important thing we can do as a citizen. Anyway, lakevoterpower.info, and then the phone number 847-377-VOTE can give you that information or more information about voting. And the voting by mail at lakecounty.gov, so that we can be good citizens and encourage everybody in our family and our neighbors. You know, no excuse. You can get in there and vote, find out what's going on or what's going to be on the ballot. Sometimes it's a surprise, sad to say. I was informed as I always could be. And they have different early voting sites. Call your township office, and they can tell you where you can come in and vote early if you don't want to go through the paper ballot, but it's really fairly convenient, and please make an effort to go out there and vote for your favorite candidate. Okay, well, let's see, let's get back to Lake County area computer enthusiasts and helping us seniors to find out how to use that expensive equipment before it gets outdated on us. It doesn't take long before you hear that, oh, that's out of date. You were saying that you can also look up some of you video a lot of these presentations you have. So if somebody can't come to the meeting, they can come online, and there's a whole list here, but let's...
You made a very good point about the rapid change in technology. It used to be you buy a car, it comes with an owner's manual, and you keep the car for 10 years, and the owner's manual is still good because your car hasn't really changed.
True.
But with technology, not only does your hardware become somewhat obsolete over time, or may become somewhat obsolete over time, but the software and the environment in which you're using a computer changes constantly. New technology is coming out. They're coming out with faster Wi-Fi now. They're coming out with faster wireless now, and phones won't work with this anymore, and so on. So the challenge is they don't come with user manuals, as you mentioned, and the challenge is how do you keep up with all of this? And this is where the internet can be a real help, because you can search for information on the internet to supplement any printed material you have. And in particular, you touched on the videos. JJ has videotaped a number of presentations in our club and put them online, and I'll let him talk about that. But I also wanted to bring up an umbrella organization we belong to, APCUG, which is an international association of personal computer user groups, over 100 clubs or user groups around the world. And they do a virtual technology conference 4 times a year where they do video conferencing presentations. And they put that up on YouTube. So I think you're going to ask about YouTube, but those are two things that fit in.
It's nice to hear about this, because when computers came out, that was the big thing. We were all going to be able to have access to all this information, and sometimes it doesn't feel that way. You feel like it's out there, but I can't find it. Right. So it's good to know that. Let's see it. We could go to www.youtube.com and then search for LCACE, which is the initials for your club, and YouTube films come up.
Right. Yes.
So
generally, I videotape our major presentations, and usually within a couple of days, I put them online. Whether it's a video or if there's a handout, PDF, or a PowerPoint, they're all up on our website. You can find them through the link for our presentation. So you can either download the presentation, the PowerPoint, or the handout, or watch the video for the presentation. And this is basically done for members. If you didn't catch something during the meeting, you can go back and review it later, or if you didn't make the meeting, you can go online and view the presentations. So we make this available to our members.
You might mention newsletters tay, because they can access our newsletters.
They have a wonderful newsletter.
Yes.
And that contains lots of info.
Yes, we do a monthly newsletter. Here again, like I said, I think 12 times a year. I'm the sort of assistant newsletter editor. The newsletter's been published for 37 years, and I'm sorry to say it was done on an Atari computer at first, and it was a challenge, but desktop publishing got a lot better nowadays than that, but we do publish in the monthly newsletter. And when the newsletter is published, we send a link out to our Google groups to inform our members that the newsletter is available for them to download and read. We do it in a PDF format and a flip page format for our members to read online.
Okay. And
one point I wanted to make about that is that the newsletter not only contains news of our club, what's going on in our club, but JJ and Mike, the newsletter editor, also harvest information from other newsletters or from APCUG website and include that in the newsletter. So it becomes a tool for computer learning in addition to just news
So
about our
other
club.
experts.
So
and-
if someone were to come to our website, they could click on newsletters and they'd find a lot of interesting articles that might be of use to them.
Well, that's, yeah, because we're always looking for different things. I had a friend who had her email hacked, and, you know, what do you do? And, you know, she had done some of the basic things, but was still looking for some more. Yeah, I'm just glancing through this. Internet speed, surfing, USB flaws. So some interesting things here. I suppose you can kind of flip through if you don't know what it's talking about. Maybe you'll learn what that means, or find out more information, or something's changed. Because like you said, everything keeps moving so quickly that what was, you know, gospel when you first learned. I mean, I started with the 10-inch floppies that you know, we had a computer thing at work where you could record on, but you had to turn it into the computer department, then they uploaded it and back forth, you know, so, you know, as the floppies got smaller and went away and everything else, it's amazing, because, I don't know, I still have my mother's original typewriter she bought used in 1936, and,
Yes.
you know, so one time,
Doesn't everyone?
yeah, it does every, well,
Well, as we were saying,
you know, and it still works. I'm
Yes,
not,
so does mine.
as we were saying, it's all about technology. Whether we inform our information with a newsletter or through our Google site or through our videos, it's basically all about keeping our members up to date on technology. Yeah.
well, that and giving them somebody to ask, you know, I
Yes.
heard about this, what, you know, what is this, you know? Especially since a lot of these things have nicknames or whatnot, that at least people are talking. Yeah.
And that's the
We're not
reason
in
for our hotline also. The hotline here again, I don't have all the information, but we have a list of people that are, as we refer to as our SIG leaders. So if I can't answer the information, I can refer you to one of our SIG leaders because I have the database and everybody's telephone number and how to reach them.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. And then you don't have to be the guru of all knowledge. You just
No.
have to,
No.
you know, interact with people who know what's going on.
It's interesting you use that
Yes.
term because what I found when I joined the club was we'd have periodic meetings devoted to Ask the Guru.
Oh.
So members could come to the meeting and bring a question about something and throw it out to the group. And someone would raise their hand and say, here's an answer or whatever, or you could post it to our group email and another member might respond and say, here's how you go about that.
Yeah, because sometimes it's all about, okay, you've got this problem, and how do you work around it? And then somebody says, well, this is how you fix
Yeah.
it. But, you know, in the
We
meantime-
also do outreach. JJ has been very active in this in the past, reaching out to other computer clubs to find out what they're doing, share information with them, visit some of their meetings. We've established outreach to other organizations. We've done presentations. JJ and others have worked with Park Place Senior Center in Waukegan.
Okay.
We've done presentations for them. I'm doing a presentation tomorrow at CC Homes in Gurnee for
Okay.
the residents there on basic computer knowledge and skills and so forth. I have another presentations coming up in March. So we're happy to go out to a community if a group or an organization has some questions, would like to learn more about computers. Please get in touch with JJ through the phone number we have here, and we'll see what we can do to come out and
Yeah, because, you know,
present to
sometimes I'm certainly more comfortable going to a group that I've been to before or whatever, if you were giving a presentation at my church. Did you mention we were talking earlier about doing something at the Civic Center in Libertyville?
I'm doing a presentation on March 24th at the Senior Center
At the
in
Senior Center,
Libertyville
okay.
on how to become your own computer expert.
Okay, well, you know, here's an ad for you guys. You know, well, you know, if you're in the area,
Yes.
sometimes you
Sure.
just
And we'll
wander in
we'll
and-
see how that goes, and if there's interest, we can certainly do that at other senior centers as well.
Yeah, because I think most of us want to know more. It's just, you know, how do you get that information from somebody who knows how to talk to you and understands that you didn't spring up from the ground knowing everything about computers. Somebody taught them
Please.
to.
You can,
Oh, is that your secret?
yeah, that's our yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've various times with people now. Somebody taught you that. You can teach me. Because that, well, it's, I guess the opposite of computers. Some few things at work. There's, well, I don't know how to use that. Well, let me show you how this is done without a computer.
Yeah.
You know, so. But yeah, I'm not anti-computer. But I just appreciate my history too. You know, I think everybody likes showing the youngsters how to do something they didn't know before.
Well, as JJ mentioned, computers these days encompass a wide variety of things. The traditional desktop, laptop computers, but also tablets and your cell phone or your smartphone as a computer.
It is a mini computer.
And there are ways in which you can set it up with a keyboard and a screen and actually literally use it as a computer, so you don't have to try typing on your phone. JJ and others have done presentations on smart homes, security, and various Ring doorbells and things like that.
Oh yeah,
and
you
so
see
forth.
those.
Yeah.
And
so we touch on that as well.
and how to set up. I mean, there are people there who help with the digital banking and that, because I know some friends who, well, that's good. So it sounds interesting, but anybody else, you get around to doing it one of these days. But yeah, this has been very interesting. The scanners and what's digital afterlife? What is that? Notes here.
That made the news probably 3-4 years ago. I started seeing articles in the news and on snippets in TV about your digital afterlife. And as we get older, we think about wills and powers of attorney and what's going to happen to us when we pass away and how do we distribute our goods and so forth. And the point of digital afterlife is that during our lifetime, many of us create a presence on the internet, public, if you will, and also private on our computers. If you look at how many accounts you have online, it could be quite a few. What happens to those? And that's what the digital afterlife is all about. It's a presentation to help you think about that and how to deal with that.
How to do. Okay, yeah, because it makes sense. I know that all these websites and emails and things, and at the time when I was signing up for it, I thought, well, at some point in time, these addresses are going to get stranger and stranger because all the rational ones will be used up by your great-grandparents or whatever it's going to be down the line. Like they talk about it being out there forever, and I don't know. It's that strange vision of all these letters floating in the clouds. But, well, it's been very interesting. So we're got just a couple minutes left here. I want to make sure that we wind this up to let our viewers know that, again, you can go to their website or come to the library and find out about things about social media and home automation and how to use your computer, how to interact with your grandkids and stay safe and just find out what's out there and how to deal with it. I think that's, wonderful that you're here for anyone. Doesn't have to be a senior. Could be, some youngster in their 50s could come in and talk to you.
That's right.
I would have to say that. I think our youngest member right now is 48, and our oldest is Howard is, I think, 83, 84, somewhere thereabouts.
Well, that's a good topic to end on. We're all together. I want to thank you for coming and talking to us. Again, Phil Bach and JJ Johnson. And I hope you enjoyed this show. I learned a lot, and, no more excuse for, oh, well, I don't know how to do that. So thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
All right.
Fred?
Okay.